Okay, good morning, world. It's March 26th. It's about 10 minutes before 7 o'clock. Sunrise will be over there somewhere. Sunrise should be in the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. A little bit different with the hill. I am all packed up. I've had breakfast. I think I'm ready to roll. The plan for today, it's about 27 miles to the Walmart, and this is the same Walmart that I went to both times on the test ride. So, coming in it from a different direction, but same Walmart. It's going to be like the next 27 miles is either steep downhill, gradual downhill, or level. I don't think there's any hills going up between here and there. And the batteries are fully charged. So life is good. If anybody wonders if solar actually works, yeah, it does. It's out of focus, but otherwise it's working. There we go. It's probably better. Yeah. So yesterday I had a just major allergy attack. I don't know if attack is the right word, but it felt like an attack. And then I think in the last couple hours, I started feeling better. So I think it was, I moved far enough that I got to a different bush. I don't know. It's like I don't see the sage or the mesquite here. It's all these cactus things. So that might be what I was allergic to. I don't know. But all of yesterday, I just felt like crap. And I realized when I was setting up camp, I started feeling better. I mean, also getting off the bike helped and resting. But anyway, yeah, I think I went to sleep by about 8 o'clock last night or so. I was pretty much tired from the day. So by 4 o'clock, I was waking up, and by 6 o'clock, I had half of the bike loaded. Then it's just been waiting for the sun to come up. I just don't want to ride in the dark, especially on this road. It's going to be kind of gnarly, but it's with the tail light flashing, I should be visible enough, and I'll have the vest on and everything. So I think we're good to go now. But got my bag of trash ready to go and just pick it up and get on, I guess. So yeah. What do they say? Leave nothing but tracks and take only pictures? Something like that. So far, our bike is holding up good. Oh, the solar charge controller is just starting to wake up. It's just flashing right now. It doesn't have enough to quite power on. Kind of cool. It's getting there, though. Okay. And yeah, the solar lights just went off the last 15 minutes or so. Those are the best little camp lights ever. I was completely set up, and I just happened to look over and I realized there were street lights here. I didn't even see them when I came in. I'm like, that's fine. You know, it's like, I'm so used to sleeping with some lights on anyway, you know. Pitch black is kind of scary. Okay, solar controller just came on. Yeah, 40.8. So, time I get down to the bottom, it'll be fully charged anyway, probably. Yeah. Next bike is going to have regen. I can't regen on this one. Regen is if you're going down a hill, the motor turns into a generator, which at the time I wasn't really too worried about it because the weight of a bicycle isn't really enough to really capture a lot of energy. In a car, it makes sense because you got 3,000 or 4,000 pounds. On a bike, you just don't have enough mass to run a generator to recover enough energy, is what I was led to believe. And then some of the other guys on solar bikes were saying, well, yeah, but when you got all of this, it does make a difference. You know, and even if, you know, if it's not very efficient, if you could recapture 10% of the energy, that's better than nothing, right? And the new batteries can recapture energy much, much faster. So it actually could be useful. And here's the part I had not really considered. The regen going down the hill can help slow you down so you don't hit your brakes as hard. I'm like, ooh, when I lost my front brake That would have been really handy. So yeah, next bike will have regen, definitely. I actually considered putting a second motor on the back. I don't know that I would do that. It was just something I was kind of thinking of. Might be an interesting option though. So far I've had enough power to get up the hill as long as I had enough battery. So we'll see when we get to the big hills. We're still in little hills. Right, move on. Next stop, Walmart. I don't know if that's going to show up from this angle. $3.94 a gallon here in Texas. At the Murphy, that's about as cheap as it gets. Back to our favorite Walmart. This is the third time in a week. All right, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. We are doing fantastic. I feel 100% better than yesterday. Turn off my blinking lights. Yeah, yesterday I had an allergy attack and I could barely see it, much less ride. I still managed to do about 40 miles in 8 hours, which is not stellar. I've done 30 miles by 10 o'clock this morning, although that was mostly downhill. So I barely touched the battery and about wore out the brakes. It was like, I think 1,000 feet drop in 10 miles or something like that. It was just on the borderline of terrifying. But the new brakes are working. So anyway, I'm going to go in and get some stuff and we'll hit the road again. I think I will make it, no, I take that back. I will make it to the Texas border, but I think where I'm going to stop is still in Texas, right on the edge of New Mexico. So we're almost out of Texas. So far, so good. That just about says it all, right? All right, we are cooking today. It's hot. So I think this is the 26th today. I think my watch is still wrong. I'll figure it out in a minute. It's not even 2:30 in the afternoon. I am all the way through El Paso at the Wendy's. There's just on the other side of the big parking lot here is the Walmart that I camped at about a week ago. So I'm just about back to where we were last time. But I mean, you're never happy about starting over, but I'm trying to look where the camera is. It's on this side now. Okay. You're never happy about starting over, but I feel like the bike is in a lot better shape now than it was a week ago. It had a pretty serious death wobble. When I built the trailer, I got the whole trailer pretty straight, and then I managed to weld the back wheel on crooked. I knew it was crooked, but on the gravel and not going very fast, I couldn't tell that it was doing anything weird. It was, maybe not tracking quite straight, but it wasn't enough to worry about. So I just left it. Well, first time coming down a big hill, like 10 miles or 15 miles out of Sierra Blanca with the load, all of a sudden now that wobble became significant. So I fought that for the whole 4 days on that trip. So when I got back, I took the whole trailer apart, cut the back wheel off, got it on straight. That seems to be 100% better. It tracks really good. It was actually frightening to take your hands off the handlebar. Like if you wanted to get a drink out of your, I got that straw on the Camelback. It was difficult to let go long enough to grab the straw and put it in your mouth to take a drink without the bike just trying to take off on you. It would just lurch. It doesn't do that now. The other thing I noticed, if you're riding after a while, even on a good seat, your butt gets tired, you just want to stand up and stretch a little bit while you're coasting or whatever. I couldn't do that before. Just moving would shift the balance and the bike would just twitch. Doesn't do that now. I can stand up and coast no problem. So that's a huge difference. Otherwise you'd end up having to stop every hour or so just to get off the bike because you're just jammed up and everything. So anyway, it's 2:30 now. It's only 12 miles to the border of New Mexico. So at the rate I've been doing, I could make that in an hour. I'm not sure what the train is from here to there. But, oh man, today was the best day ever for coasting down long hills. From where I camped to the edge of town, I think was 12 miles and descended about 1,500 feet. A lot of that was in the first 5 miles. It was a good test for the new brakes. I did not go more than about 10 miles an hour all the way down that because I couldn't see because it was corners, right? And I didn't want to be going fast and then find out the death wobble was still there. But so far it seemed okay. But you don't want to be going too fast and then rip the brakes off again, right? So I was taking it pretty conservative, and then if I could see ahead and see that the hill was going to get gradually less, then I'd let it coast a little bit faster. And I think I was up to 15 or 18 miles an hour. I mean, obviously it could have coasted a lot faster than that with the amount of weight. And the tires don't have very much rolling resistance, but I was like, no, I don't think I want to go that fast. I'm not racing, so no reason right now. So the catchphrase so far is super conservative, just as careful as I can be. I'm not taking any extra chances because I've got enough mechanical problems that could still come back and bite me. So anyway, yeah, it was like from where I camped to the Walmart, I practically coasted all the way down the hill. I had almost a full charge when I got to Walmart. I was probably there for 45 minutes, used the restroom, got some stuff I needed, filled up my water bottles, hit the McDonald's while I was there. The battery was fully charged easily by the time I came out because it was basically fully charged last night when I camped. Now parking again, it's basically fully charged and it's 2:30, so I'm thinking I shouldn't have any trouble at all going 12 miles. And where I'm going to, it's going to be another truck stop. I figure there's a truck stop on either side of the highway, and that's right at the state line. It's still in Texas, but we're basically the best place I could think to stop. Because you got, restrooms, and you can buy breakfast, and they got coffee, and lots of parking for a travel center. So I shouldn't I shouldn't be too out of place there. I don't really call myself a trucker. I only drove on the road for 3 weeks, but I still got my trucker's safety vest, so I almost could fit in. And I've got a trailer. That's got to count for something, right? Anyway, I'm going to eat the rest of my Frosty before it all melts, and I'm just enjoying the shade. I got the bike parked out in the sun, and I looked over here, and I'm like, ooh, there's 4 feet of shade. I'm taking it. Yeah, it's hot today. It is. We're feeling it. I don't know how much I said last night. Yesterday I had massive allergies. I was sucking. My eyes were burning. I couldn't breathe really. I mean, I wasn't like falling over, couldn't breathe, but I just felt like I didn't want to be riding. I think on the last video I said I did 40 miles. I think it was about 37 or something like that. That was it, right? Today I've gone, I'm gonna have to go back and look now. I've gone way, well, I think getting to the first Walmart was more than that, but that was all downhill, so it doesn't really count. But now we're all the way through town. I'm where I was yesterday, almost sunset, and it's only 2 o'clock, or the last time I was here, so I'm way ahead of that. If I ever have to come through El Paso again, now I know the way to do it. I don't plan on doing this too often, and honestly, that's why I tried so hard to go the other way. I did see a comment from somebody who's confirmed my suspicion. The road from Del City going north that I was going to take, in fact, is gravel road. One of the commenters mentioned it. So it's so funny because I did not even think about that when I was planning the route. And looking at it on the map, it doesn't say, but it's kind of a faint line. It's not like, a dark line on the maps. And, looking at it, there's no way they would have paved that road. It doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's not a road that a lot of people would take, probably. It just didn't even cross my mind. So yeah, I'm sure glad I didn't go that way. So this set me back a day, but Now that I'm feeling better, I got the Benadryl. I didn't need it today. Oh, this will be funny. I suspect, now this is not going to be, set in stone or anything, but in my county, there was a lot of sagebrush and mesquite, or that kind of bush, right? By the time I got to where I camped, I was starting to breathe better, and I looked around, and there was cactuses and palm trees, and there's kind of cactus-looking palm trees. They got long, spiky palms. I don't know, but there wasn't any mesquite or sagebrush in the area where I was stopped, and I just suddenly cleared right up. So I think I got it narrowed down to probably 2 or 3 things that I'm allergic to. So I just can't go home. I'm allergic to home, but I'm feeling good here. So see how that turns out. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna finish my Frosty and hit the road, and we should be there well before dark. Yeah, should be there by 4. I was on the road by 7 this morning though, so we're putting in a pretty good day here. Yeah. This is redemption for yesterday, because yesterday I was just totally demoralized, really, is probably the best way to say it. I'm like, I can't even go 40 miles, and it wasn't a hard day, and it wasn't windy, and I was just devastated, I'm like, But today I feel great, so, okay. Forward and onward. All right, we made it 4 p.m. on the dot. We are at the Pilot Travel Center. I'm over on the truck side. Most of these guys don't idle anymore, so it should be pretty quiet over here. Yeah, so I'm in Anthony, Texas, and Anthony straddles the state line. So there's an Anthony, Texas, and an Anthony, New Mexico. This ends up being on the Texas side, so technically I didn't get out of Texas, but close enough. We'll cross first thing in the morning. We're officially on the way. We're out of El Paso. There's no going back now, probably. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. As luck would have it, and I didn't think to look down, there's not even any real vegetation, but there is a crap load of thorns. I looked down at my tires when I parked, and there was like a thorn every inch all the way around the tires, all 3 of them. So picked them all out so I don't drive them in any deeper. So now when I pull out, I bet they were back there where I first pulled in, because I don't see any here. Anyway, just gonna rest here in the shade for a bit and put on some sort of street clothes. I don't know, I'm not really comfortable walking into places with spandex yet. If you're on the bike, okay, fine, that kind of makes sense, but if you're walking around in general, probably not. So I got some cargo shorts I can put on and go in and get a cold drink, because it's hot out here. Yeah. You look at that kind of like, well, I do have a Coke here, but it's warm, and if I buy one of theirs, then it's kind of like paying tax or something. And if all these guys can park here, I'm at least not taking up any space, right? Anyway, the battery's at 40 volts, 41.5 was cut off. Shut that off so I don't forget. I had the blinking light on. And yep, I shut that off, okay. I'm kind of shaded by the tree, but I'm still getting 0.6 charging, so I don't know if we're gonna get it's still going up, so we might get there. It's only 4 o'clock, so I was gonna lean up against the wall, then I realized where the sun was over there, so. This seems like a good enough spot. A little bit of shelter behind the wall, so if it gets windy or something, I can just put my cot right up against the wall here. It's a nice stone wall. That'll be fine. And I'm kind of away from, yeah, they got the great big lights over there. I remember when I was camping at the Walmart way back when, not this trip. If you got the right spot, the the street lights weren't too bad. Oh, I probably didn't tell that story. Hang on. Should get product placement for that. Yeah, I don't remember if I told this part of the story. On the last trip, when I stopped at the second Walmart, which was right by the Wendy's that I stopped at today for the Frosty, they used to not chase you out. Well, I get there about, it was 11:30 the store closed, 12:30 the security guard comes along and asks me to leave. And it took me a second to really wake up, and I'm like, wait, you didn't used to kick us out of here. And they're like, well, yeah, but that was 2 years ago when COVID hit, and that's when I quit doing that. So when COVID started, the stores, the Walmarts aren't open 24 hours a day anymore. So now it's pretty obvious if there's somebody parked there after the store is closed. So anyway, then she had pity on me, so she's like, hey, well, you know, that tree over there, like 50 feet from where I was set up, that's not our property. If you're over there, I won't ask you to leave. I look at it, I'm like, okay, Bank of America, they're not going to be open until at least 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll be long gone by then. So I pick up all my stuff, carry it 50 feet, set it right next to the tree. You know, she drove by a couple times, I'd wave, she'd wave back. Okay, we're good, you know. Yeah. Never hurts to be polite, you know. Sometimes they can help you out if you're not a jerk about it. Otherwise, she just would have bounced me out of there. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. My batteries weren't really topped off. I was trying to think in that area, where else would I want to go? Oh, and the brakes were broken. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be limping along with broken brakes, trying to find a place that I can sleep for a few hours and, you know, not get arrested or something. So it worked out good. Anyway, I think I'll drink something cold. If I don't post anymore, as always, thanks for all your support. And had a couple donations come through today off of the last video. I was like, oh, okay, great. That bought me a Coke and lunch. You know, that helps a lot. So the irony is, I don't get those till the end of the month, right? So in theory, yeah, that bought me a Coke, but that'll buy me a Coke next month. So anyway, thanks for all the support, and thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching the videos. And whenever I have time and internet, I'll answer questions. So keep the comments coming. All right, bye for now.